Okay, well, I thought I would be done with this series, but I've got one more for you. And this is, I mean, for those of you who are actually, who love a narcissist unconditionally, you really love this person and you want to help them, and you just don't know how, I'm going to try and help you. So let me help you help yourself and help your narcissist. If you love a narcissist and you don't want to give up on them, you need to know a few things. Number one, they cannot change. They will not change. They will not go to counseling or therapy. They cannot handle the pain that comes with reconciling wrong aspects of their personality. So part of going to counseling and therapy is to talk out some of these issues and come to an understanding that the way you were perceiving things was wrong. So you see this all the time in couples therapy when a couple's having issues. And I don't know, the clip from Breaking Bad comes to mind where they have the talking pillow, right? And generally, counseling and therapy is where you come to a mutual understanding by being able to speak candidly about how you feel about what another person's doing. And the exercise is for you to say, oh, wow, I mean, I know you said it, but now that I'm hearing it in front of somebody else, I do realize that my behavior was wrong. I realize I was wrong in doing all of this stuff. I'm sorry. And you genuinely recognize that what you were doing was wrong and hurtful. And then that naturally leads to wanting to change that because you love that person. You don't want to hurt them anymore. You don't want to be in the wrong anymore. And so you want to evoke a change. And that's how normal people do it. But with a narcissist, and with somebody with a narcissistic personality disorder, it's not an unwillingness to. They cannot handle any kind of confrontation about any wrongdoing because they're perfect, and in their mindset they're perfect, and that's their identity. That's how they identify themselves. It's kind of unfair because they've often come from a background of some sort of long-running abuse pattern, like the child of an alcoholic or the child of a narcissist, where your entire childhood you're subjected to this emotionally unstable adult who takes out their anger and frustration on you when you've done nothing wrong. And that happens during your formative years, and that's how they've formed. They've formed rationalizing whenever they're taking the abuse from the adult. They say, I've done nothing wrong to deserve this. I've done nothing wrong. And so they grow up and they form this understanding of the world that the things that they're being accused of, they've done nothing wrong. And if they've done nothing wrong, then they do everything right. And if they do everything right, well, then they're not at fault. And if they're not at fault, well, then, therapy is a lost cause, because all you've done now is just tried to triangulate against them with a therapist who believes everything you say, right? So yeah, they're not going to go to therapy. They cannot change, but you can change. You can change, and you can do what you can to make yourself more appealing to the narcissist. But you got to understand a couple of things about your role in a narcissistic relationship. First of all, your narcissist, male or female, keeps people in their lives to serve very specific purposes. And I've talked about this also in other videos. So you serve a very specific purpose to this narcissist. If you know what that purpose is and understand it, and you accept your responsibility as having this role in their life, that can help. However, also understand, because they lack whole object relations and whole object constancy, you can fulfill your roles, you can fulfill your duties in their mind effectively, but unfortunately you have multiple flaws. So the second you start fulfilling one duty and one purpose, they're going to immediately transition to something else. I saw this so much with my narc where I would just, I had the identity of husband, father, provider, and the second that I would, give my narcissist whatever she wanted, the second she would have it, she'd be like, oh, thank you. No hug, not even a hug or kiss, and then immediately she'd be like, now I want this. Okay. So it's like, hey, you know that you always talked about, you wanted LASIK? Well, you can have LASIK. And she's like, oh, thanks. Now I want a tummy tuck. Literally, that's what happened. So yeah, that's going to be your reality. The other reality is you're in a relationship with somebody that cannot take hearing no for an answer. And so because of that, a no is a personal attack. So you have to avoid saying no. You have to do what's called the gray rock technique. I've got other videos on it. You can be a gray rock when you're in a relationship with a narcissist and you have to coexist. Let me give you an example here. So if you tell them no, it's a personal attack, right? However, there's one of the things you can do is just say, well, yeah, sure, we'll look into it. Let's sit down and let's plan. There are some key phrases that you can use to sort of soften the blow for a narcissist. So instead of just saying no or disagreeing, you need to say, I understand why you feel that way. You need to do what you feel is best. What do you feel is best? I may not agree, but I have no right to tell you how to feel. I'm not going to tell you how to feel, and I do not control how you feel. These are very, very powerful phrases, and you need to always let them down in that manner, where you say, what you feel is best. We need to do what you feel is best. Just because I don't agree doesn't mean I control how you feel. And just because I don't agree doesn't mean I get the right to tell you how to feel. I understand if you feel different than I do. I'm not saying you have to feel the same way I do. We just agree to disagree. That was something I had to do overwhelmingly in my last marriage, was just agree to disagree. We come from two different places, and it doesn't necessarily, I'm not attacking you. I don't think you're wrong. And that's the other thing, be like, we need to do what you feel is best. I don't necessarily think you're wrong. I think there's more than one valid viewpoint here. I think we both have valid viewpoints. But as far as what we should do from this point, I think I've got a different plan in mind, and so do you. And maybe we can make this work. So you've got to kind of sort of take that approach. Now, when they do go on the attack, and they do accuse you, you can say things like, I can understand your flaw. I've come to accept that you're going to have a flawed perception of me because of the situation. I can accept your flawed perception of me. Because what that does is that, number one, that sidesteps the fact that you're a bad person, or that you're this bipolar person that they're seeing, gently. But you can just, it also at the same time, you're not going to engage in trying to prove them wrong, right? You don't have to prove them right or wrong. You can say, well, that's, I can accept that. It's like, you're just doing that because you're controlling. I can accept that flawed perception of me, and I'm okay with it. I genuinely just believe that I feel this is, what I feel the best thing to do is blank. And that's what you say. When they say, you're just being controlling, you just want to do all blah, blah, blah. Say, I can accept that flawed perception of me. I'm fine with it. But what I feel is best is different from what you feel is best. I don't think it's fair for you to tell me how I should feel. And I certainly don't I don't control your feelings, and I don't try to tell you how to feel. I just say, you need to do what you feel is best. If I feel something else is best, then that's also okay. We don't always have to agree. We can agree to disagree. We can make, you handle your side, I'll handle my side, right? So go team happy, woo! And attack it. Both of you attack the problem from different angles, and you can make yourself an ally in that manner by saying, you do what you feel is best. I feel something else. I feel what is best is this, but you know what? Why don't we both team up on this, attack it from different angles? We can team up on this and solve it together. That's another tactic that you can use. But for the most part, there's not a whole lot of conflict that can follow the phrase, you need to do what you feel is best, right? Do what you feel is best. If that's what you want to do, that is what you need to do. As long as that's what you feel is best, I can't fault you or judge you for it. And it may very well be that they're trying to threaten you. Well, since this is going to force me to go back to court, I don't want to go back to therapy, but if I have to, I will. Well, then you need to do what you feel is best, and I support you. I'll never tell you that you're a bad person for doing what you feel is best or what you feel is right. If that's what you feel is right, then I support you. There's nowhere for a conflict to go from there. But understand the last point I'm going to make. Understand that if you love a narcissist and you're staying with the narcissist, you're staying for you. You're not being any kind of help to them. They cannot be helped because they will not accept help. And your love for this narcissist and your determination to stay in a relationship with a narcissist comes directly from your inability to admit that you're in a failed relationship and your own inability and unwillingness to put the relationship out of its misery and move on. And that is something that you need to take a good, hard look at, is yourself. And think about, why are you so determined to cling and maintain a toxic relationship? Is it because you're afraid of being alone? Or are you afraid of what this person's going to do? Take a good, hard look at your motivations for staying in this relationship. And then recognize that you're perpetuating pain in a narcissist. And if they're not happy and you're in your mind refusing to give up on a relationship, all that's doing is causing somebody else pain. And that's not a very good, healthy thing for either of you. So take a good hard look in the mirror. Realize that this person will not change, and that your definition of refusing to give up is also your definition of refusing to move on. And it also means that you're refusing to let this other person move on with their life and get on with their life. They're going to forever be that way. Period. They don't have the ability to change, but you do. And that's what you need to do. Let them go and move on. So thank you very much for watching this. I think now this will be the last video. Otherwise, if I come back and add one, we'll see how long this cycle goes. But love yourself, be true to yourself, and true to them, and do what's right. So thank you very much. We'll see you on the next video.